I'm a champion, mother effer.
Oh, whoa, easy now. We're on a live show there, Coach. We just had one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So, what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, um, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right.
With one episode without Jerry. One episode without.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Ain't gonna do it. Just ain't gonna do it.
Well, like I said, we start the show with a joke because that's
maybe JJ could tell a joke.
What are we doing here? Already? We're already doing this? Holy
The flu got me last week. Powered through that.
Look much better.
Yeah, well, on my bad days, I look a hell of a lot better than you.
Are you ready for the joke?
I was about to introduce the joke. You jumped the damn gun again.
I'm feeling Caribbean here in this.
You're feeling
Caribbean. That's the word I just made up. Caribbean. I'm feeling Caribbean.
Folks, we are the most entertaining thing on the world, in the world right now.
I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not
country
admit
of ninth in the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now and don't.
You know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. A lot of cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go? You know,
you're getting too deep into this.
Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird.
If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE all-star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun.
It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ass.
If you smell like ass and you look like ass, you play like ass.
Somehow he talked about buttholes and made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7, and it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up.
Are you telling me coaches like Coach Popovich does plays in spaghetti noodles?
The thing about Coach Popovich is he actually liked to use popcorn with super glue.
Popcorn with super glue?
Yeah, he would put super glue little magnets on the bottom, and then he would arrange them on the board, and he would like color them different colors, and that would signify the opponents. And yeah.
Are those the players?
I don't want to give away any industry secrets on that particular thing, but yeah, I'm just gonna say you gotta. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm saying no more.
And they're playing with sticks, and they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks. Talking about last names, Stankhoven. He put the stank on them. And that was terrible. I'm sorry. I'm going
to look directly into the camera up here, which I hardly ever do. I want to apologize to y'all on behalf of my bloodline right now because that was awful. Oh, my God. You're getting worse. All right.
It's playing in these ridiculous places. They played in Ireland. Kicking American football in Ireland.
Trying to grow the game, man. Global game.
These people, they don't give a damn.
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts. You're almost going to laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh, man.
Oh, you didn't know?
Hey, folks, what's up? How are we? Welcome to On Time Sports Talk. We are back, and hopefully better than we were last week. I'm repping the custom hat, though. Check that out, right there, engraved, everything. Bam, moving up in the world. But across from me, or next to me, however you're seeing it, my bald and beautiful father, Eddy, the original schedule, who gave half of life to the legend of myself, Casey the Remix Schedule. Say hi to the folks, Pops.
Hi to the folks, Pops, but gave you half the life. It's like you had a thought and you kind of went off track there. So,
Well, you know,
um,
when it was going through my brain last time I did that, I accidentally messed up and said you gave birth, and we didn't want to go down that route again. So I was like, well, you gave me half my life. So
no, go bro.
yeah, there we go. So yes, appreciate the XY chromosome. All right, well, folks, we always start with well, let me get to the rundown, and then we're going to get to his terrible attempt at comedy, as always, our show joke of the day. It almost feels like not a lot's happened, but a lot's happened this week. It's kind of a lull. You know, it's the week off from football, going into the Super Bowl. So we got to talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. We got to review the NFC Championship games. We got Deshaun Watson 2.0. That's not good. We got some Major League Baseball to get into, which we haven't talked baseball in forever. And we got some got to talk about the boys. Got to talk about the Cowboys, who they hired. I can see his reaction over there. And then we got some more controversy in the NBA. So you want
When do they not have controversy?
I gotta have the controversy, and then the non-controversy, or maybe it is depending on who you're fan. We also have the All-Star teams announced for the NBA, and someone snubbed the NBA. Whoa! They said, "Screw you! I don't want to go." Interesting story there, but hit the people with a joke there, my famous father. Hit it. That was terrible. I apologize, guys.
Well, you know, I do like a little Star Wars, so I'm going to bring in a little Star Wars for you. How many stormtroopers does it take to change a light bulb? How many stormtroopers does it take to change a light bulb?
How many stormtroopers? I don't know. Hit the people with how many stormtroopers it takes to change.
Well, that would be zero. Actually, none, because they're all on the dark side. Bada bing. There you go. And then a bonus quickie. Hi, I'm Cliff. Drop over sometime. Get it? I'm Cliff. Drop over sometime. Woo! That was awesome.
Wow.
You got a 2 for on this Thursday.
All right. Folks, that's why we say we try. All right. Well, let's get into it. What you sipping on? Some prune juice or something to help your digestive system over there?
Oh my God, prune juice, really? Prune?
Well, you ain't getting
I'll prune you, man. I'll prune you.
Oh man! All right, let's talk about the absolute.
It's all that. It's whiskey, and that whole thing is full of whiskey. It's because I had to raise you.
I was the good child. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you just never got caught. Because are you saying you were square? Is that what you're saying?
In the mortal words of Squints Palidorus, L7 Weenie. All right, anyways. All right, let's actually talk.
I have no idea what the hell that was, but okay.
I know you. Hold on. Before we get to the Eagles, Washington, you never saw The Sandlot?
Oh, okay.
Squints Palidorus.
Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls.
Exactly. But that wasn't who said it. But all right. Folks, comment something, and I'll let you deal with them. By the way, my number one fan says she's here for the drama. So
She also loved my clip joke.
she did love the clip joke. All right. Philly, Washington. Holy shnikes, that did not go the way I thought it was going to go. I picked Washington to win. I look like a fool. I won the picks throughout the year in the playoffs, and then I was wrong on both in the conference championship. So what was your impression? How did you think the game went for the Eagles and for the Commanders?
Well, okay. My thing was, as I said, Washington's going to have to slow down the run. They weren't going to stop it. But on the very first play, they let Mr. Barkley go 60 yards for a touchdown. On the very first play, that set the tone. And I'm a firm believer that the beginning of a game, on the first drive, the first play, it sets the tone of the game. You fumble it, and you throw an interception, you do something like that, you're going to be in quicksand the rest of the game. But the fact is that Barkley went out there and did his thing on the very first play. And I just think the Eagles right now, as much as I hate to say this, they are just a very, very good team because they are balanced. They have the passing game, whereas in the past, and I've said it before, and I don't think many people are going to disagree, Jalen Hurts has not always been consistent. He has made mistakes in the most unopportune times, but he hasn't had this type of running game that he could lean on. And a lot of people say, well, Jalen Hurts is not really lighting it up. Well, he hasn't had to because he's got a all-pro running back behind him who is just, to me, Barkley is on a mission. He is on a mission to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. And I don't know if it's to throw it in Giants' face, which I don't think it is, but I think it's more or less to show that, hey, when I'm on a good team, I'm a damn good running back, if not the best running back in the league.
Yeah,
so
I agree with everything you said there. And ultimately, the biggest thing that I think with Saquon is, he's running behind a great offensive line, which as a running back, you need that. He was great. He was a great player. The talent was there. But, Walter Payton had good offensive lines. Emmett had good offensive lines. Frank Gore in his career, who I believe is third on the rushing list, believe it or not, had good offensive lines throughout his career. Really, the only guy who didn't that's up there is Barry Sanders. And so you plug and play Saquon Barkley in that system with a more than competent quarterback, he's going to flourish. And it's the old balance thing. We kind of talked about this on Sunday's show as a network, is where we were like, was it Brady, was it Belichick, or what was it? Well, as a running back, you got to have a comparable line. You got to have your talent and your vision, and you also have to have your quarterback playing at a certain level for you to be ultimately effective as well. So the Eagles defense, I think, has been impressive this run, and I think they're the number one defense all year. I'm pretty sure on that stat, and it's a pretty stout group. And there was guys that they took in the draft that the Cowboys could have taken. They took freaking Schoonmaker, and they could have had Nolan Smith Jr. I was pissed about that when it happened, but they've obviously built great with Davis and Carter and the inside, and just running against them is a nightmare. But the Eagles have built something, and I hate to say it, they have a phenomenal team, and so, but I think it's going to be very, very interesting moving forward with how Washington continues to build, because they have a massive amount of cap space, as well as a lot of young talent and talent that is generally locked up for a few years. So, what's your take on Washington?
Well, I think they went as far as they could go with a rookie quarterback. Um, there's a reason you don't see rookies winning championships, but I think they've got the nucleus there. And as much as I criticize Dan Quinn for some of the defense when he was with the Cowboys, I've never criticized his ability to get a team fired up and really do things that nobody was really expecting. And this team just shows, and they just have a lot of young players in place. And I just think Daniels, but here's the thing is with quarterbacks and these rookie quarterbacks, the second year is really the tell all for you because, as they say, you don't really have a lot of film, you don't really have a lot of study of the quarterback until they finish that first year. And not all of them are able to continue that. So we'll see if he continues to light it up. And the one thing I think Daniels has more than most new quarterbacks, he's calm in the pocket, even when it's breaking down. It just he shows a maturity to me that you don't normally see from a rookie in the NFL, and especially on the big stage like he was on. And the fact that he already has numerous fourth quarter comebacks, winning games at the very end of the in the last 2 minutes. So I think Washington's on an upswing. I think it just puts more onus on how hard it's going to be for the Cowboys going forward in the NFC East because I don't see the Eagles dropping off. Unless there's something that happens during this offseason that's a major player leaving or something like that, but I don't see that happening. So Washington and Eagles are going to be good for a few years, and the Cowboys and the Giants both have a long way to go to catch up to those two.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Cowboys are a better position than the Giants. I think the Giants are a complete teardown. I don't think the Cowboys are. The turnaround in Washington has been incredible. They've been bottom of the barrel for a little bit, and Jaden Daniel, we've already said it's the greatest rookie season of all time. And honestly, he could have been in the MVP running or Offensive Player of the Year running for his performance. So it's scary and a little disheartening as a Cowboy fan seeing their turnaround so quickly. Dak Prescott has 2 playoff wins in his entire career, and Jaden Daniels has 2 in the last 5 months. So,
can I just throw in a point of contention here? Or I don't know if it's contention, but I actually like it when the other teams in the East are good because it makes the Cowboys have to get good. I think over the past few years, it's been the Eagles, Cowboys, and they both haven't been as dominant as what we saw this year, but from the Eagles and quite frankly from Washington. And so I think that's going to make the other two teams. Man, I'm really hoping the Cowboys, they can't just rest on their laurels and throw in a player here, plug in a player there. So I'm hoping it makes them want to get better because right now they're not even in the same league to me as Washington and the Eagles, unfortunately.
I hope you're right. I don't know really where you're pulling that they're going to force themselves to get better because they had a chance last offseason. They have a chance this offseason. And, I don't want to make this part of the show into the Cowboy segment, but they've already screwed the pooch on this offseason with their head coach hire. And we'll get into that a little later. I don't think much is going to change for the Cowboys with Jerry Jones still in charge. thinking that he knows the job better than anyone else. And he's the general manager of a team, and I guarantee you he couldn't give you the top 10 prospects in the upcoming draft. And you're supposed to
probably correct.
Yeah, he might get he'd probably get the Sanders kid, Shador, but he wouldn't say his name right. I guarantee you that, and that's only because it's Deion's kid. Who he wanted to come coach here, which Deion was all like, "Nah, bro." Which I told you he wasn't gonna come. He wasn't gonna come deal with this crap. Because he had the cachet to actually challenge Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones doesn't want that. So, but the Chiefs escaped the Bills, not without controversy again. Not without controversy. Josh Allen, he got that fourth down. I don't care what you say if you disagree. By replay and live action, he got the fourth down. I don't know why they didn't give it to him. Oh, I know why. Because the refs play for the effing Chiefs. That's why. So not only do you got to beat the Chiefs, you got to beat the Zebras too. And if you don't like it, if you're a Chiefs fan or, whatever, look, you can. Did you save the sticky from Sunday? All the way from Sunday?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
What did I say Josh Allen would do all year? You said he's the MVP.
He is the MVP.
He's going to the Super Bowl. He's going to win it all. And what did I say? What did I say? I said, let me take us back, rewind, that he will take you to the edge of believing that you are going to win. That you are going to finally get over the hump, that the Buffalo Bills, the fans who have dealt with 4 Super Bowl losses in a row and have not gotten back there, their hopes, their dreams were on Mr. Allen. And what happens? We're womp, womp.
Look, I wasn't going to go the Josh Allen route here, but since you brought it up and you wanted to try to pour salt in the wound here, is he's lost 4 times. 4 times he's lost to the Michael Jordan of football. Like, you can't knock him for that. He's lost to the.
What you thought he was going to beat him this time?
I didn't think he was going to win, but you're arguing when you say stuff like that. Every quarterback except one every year gets their team to the point of I almost got it done. That's the frustrating part. This wasn't the divisional round. This wasn't to get in the playoff. This is the damn AFC Championship game where Lamar Jackson can't get to. Okay, where Joe Burrow, he gets your team not even in the playoffs. Okay, so like you can knock it, but Josh Allen has only had less than 10 wins his once, which was his rookie year, and he's lost in the playoffs 4 out of his 6 years to Mahomes. You're going against the second greatest quarterback at the moment ever, and they have a good team. What's going to be really interesting with the Chiefs, I'll back off the Bills soap opera there for a second. What's interesting with the Chiefs is what's going to happen after this year, whether they win or lose the Super Bowl. If they three-peat, does Andy Reid ride off into the sun? Does Kelsey hang it up? Do these older guys start packing it in? If Andy Reid leaves, I think Mahomes takes a step backwards. And it's, Patrick Mahomes ain't been playing great. Now, that team, they have the heart of a champion. They find ways to win games. I think they set the record for the number of one-score games this year, like with 11 or 12 games or something like that. And I'll give you credit, old man. I'll give you credit. You said they just find ways to win. They just find ways to win. And it's not pretty. It's not great. Kelsey sucked during the season. He's worried about Tay too much. That's why I also think he's going to retire, win or lose at the Super Bowl. But
and also, can I just rephrase something you just or point out that Joe Burrow has been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he gets you there, and he doesn't get the job done.
But he got you there. He got you there. Josh don't even get you there.
Listen.
Let me see. Let me look at the last 10 Super Bowls. Do I see how many times did the Buffalo Bills? I don't see them.
Yeah, you also don't see a shit ton of other teams too, do you?
No, but Josh Allen, you said he's the guy. He's the man.
I'm telling you, Josh Allen's going to get it done eventually. All right. And you can look, you've already finally admitted he's a top 4.
That's what they say about Dak.
I never said that about Dak. And
That's
Dak,
what they say about Dak.
Dak hasn't been to multiple championship games either, like Josh Allen. So let's not compare. They're not even in the same conversation in talent and in level of play. Okay, just like let's not. If you put Dak on the Bills fully healthy, they struggle to make the playoffs. That's how I feel. Anyways, so Chiefs. What'd you think of the game? Like I think they stole the AFC Championship personally.
Well, I think you could find some calls that they didn't call on Buffalo. They should have too, but you know, it's like we talked about before. I don't think there's a conspiracy theory, but I do think there is a influence, a leaning to not call something or to call something, and not want to be that ref that is out there of saying, "Oh, you changed the game, you took a championship away." But so it's as I've said all year, and the argument's going to come up here soon, which if Andy Reid wins his third one in a row, do we say he's better than Belichick? I'm going to say yes, because Belichick, he may have won more, but he never won 3 in a row. And in fact, no one has ever won 3 in a row. And Andy Reid will have done that. And so, in my book, he's going to be the best coach to ever coach in game. But it's really close, obviously, because of Belichick. But to me, I think Andy Reid, who's gotten to a Super Bowl before with the Eagles, didn't win it, but he got there. Belichick has not done that with more than one team. And the fact that they're going to set history by winning 3 in a row, if they win.
The Andy Reid conversation is an interesting one. I can't put him over old man Bill, even though I'm not a huge fan of Bill Belichick, but I respect greatness where greatness is. I think there's obviously a couple controversies with Bill Belichick's run, Spygate, Deflategate, all that stuff. So Andy Reid, man, he's definitely he's definitely top 2, top 3. Even without this Super Bowl win. And I remember Philadelphia was ready so quickly to get rid of him after his run there. And, egg on their face. I mean, they're obviously in the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years themselves. I mean, that's a great conversation, a great point on Andy Reid. He does great in State Farm commercials too.
Oh, you're gonna see if I was Andy Reid, that's what I would say. So, what do you just won the Super Bowl, Mr. Reid, coach? Where are you going? No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. But
did you just pull out Jerry?
No, that was Mahomes. That was my thing of.
That was your Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
we
see, that's my Mahomes. Let me tell you, I'm from Texas, Rick, and I saw a little bit of draw, but that's
for those watching on TikTok and on all our live other streams. I'm telling you, look up Mahomes. He looks like Darlene from Roseanne.
Yeah, I saw that, man. He
That
played Darlene on Roseanne.
I was all like, wow, that is eerily weird. So, oh man. So that leads us to the Super Bowl, a rematch of a couple years ago, Chiefs, Eagles. Obviously, you add Saquon into this. You add some different pieces for the Chiefs as well. Man, I got to be honest. That my heart, and it's very, very. It's like the size of the Grinch's heart in the beginning of Dr. Seuss's The Grinch when it comes to this subject. My heart says Philly, honestly. But my head says, how do you bet against Mahomes? Like I don't it's if I was putting money, I'm betting Kansas City because it's what they do. I don't want them to win 3 in a row. I don't want Philly to win. But I don't know how you go against the Chiefs on this.
Well, a couple of interesting things. As I said, Chiefs always find a way to win. Now, the last 3 Super Bowls, which is interesting to me, have only been separated by 3 points. That includes the Rams and Bengals, the Chiefs and Eagles, and then the Chiefs and the 49ers, of course. But to me, the edge in a close game is going to be the Chiefs. It's going to be the Chiefs. But the Eagles, and you quoted the Grinch. My favorite line out of there is, "I'm feeling." What is wrong? So the dogs just joined me in here. If you hear tip tapping on the feet there, um, it's like I'm feeling. What is with me? Because it's like I have to say that I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I think the Eagles are balanced enough this time that they're going to win this game. As much as I hate to say that, as much as I almost throw up when I say that, I think the Eagles are going to win this game.
Like I said, my heart on this subject is about that big, right around there, and my heart says Philly. But I can't do it. I think that Mahomes wins, and if it's a 1-score game, it's what Mahomes does. Like I heard the statistic, and I'm gonna give credit where I heard it. It was on the ticket in Dallas Fort Worth, and they did I think it was Pro Football Focus did the stat on drives in the playoffs that were to tie or take the lead with less than 2 minutes left. There's been like 122 of them. Like Brady was 5 for 11. Tom Brady considered the GOAT, right? Drew Brees was 3 for 6. Patrick Mahomes is 7 for 7.
Yeah, I was thinking to say he's 100%
every time. Like
Yep.
I don't until he doesn't do it, I can't say I can't not pick them in the Super Bowl. Like I hate to do it. I don't want to see him three-peat. I don't want to see him erase the Cowboys 3 and 4 years. Those type of things. But I think the Chiefs, I can't bet against them. I think Philly has a great chance to win the game. I really do.
Now, I may be picking the Eagles to win. Doesn't mean I'm rooting for them. Doesn't mean I'm rooting for them.
You are wearing like Eagles green right now.
No, this is a gray.
It looks green on the screen.
Yeah, well, you're colorblind. It's gray. It's gray. So
no, this is gray.
That's my mood right now with the people playing. That's light gray. Mine's dark gray.
That is not dark gray.
So,
oh my God, he's losing his sight too.
But it's kind of like my mood right now. of these two teams playing in the Super Bowl. It's not. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, and it's like if the Chiefs win 3 in a row, then that's when will that be topped?
It's one of those things
And
where
then-
it's like I said it on Sunday. I want both effing teams to lose. Like I hope they both lose. I don't know how that can happen. That's got to be like an act of Jesus or something. But I hope they both lose. All right. Not much drama this time of the year outside the Super Bowl in the NFL, but we do got some with that mother trucker Tucker. Justin Tucker has been accused of pulling a Deshaun Watson 2.0 and being a little indecent with massage therapist. What is this?
What?
Is this a trend going on? What is this?
What is the deal with this massage crap? It just
Ooh.
I don't get it. Don't the teams provide massages for free at the facility?
I don't know what they're doing. I don't think. Hey, Deshaun Watson stuff was all over Houston. He was going to me love you long time places.
Yeah.
I just heard Angie in the background say gross. but it's one of those things, man. Like
that is.
Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you saw him go through this. You're a professional athlete. Like, you make money. You can have. I don't know if he's married or not. I didn't look that too heavily into it. But shit, man. Like, come on. One, have some common sense. Two, you're a pro athlete, and I know you're a kicker and you get a bad rap, but you're still a pro athlete. I'm sure you can go to the club and pretty much get any woman you want if that's your thing. Like massage therapy.
Well, are you saying he's guilty? Are you convicting the man before he's been taken to court?
No. Don't put words in my mouth now. You've tried to do that before on this show, and it created a great YouTube short. It's not going to happen this time. Okay? You are innocent until proven guilty, 100%. But the accusations on him, you would think you would be smarter than to put yourself in those positions as a professional athlete, especially with massage therapists in the NFL.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
All right.
I get that. So, yeah, it's just like those players who are out after 2 a.m. in the morning. Why? You're just going to get yourself into trouble. So, I just, but we'll see what happens. Tucker has been one of those guys that
he's been
has
great,
been consistent.
I think he still owns the most accurate kicking like in NFL history. But I got to be honest, if there's
Aubrey's catching up.
Well, before I was so rudely interrupted, I think if there's any validity to this, you got to walk away if you're the Ravens. I think you got to walk away from it. Actually, this just in, breaking news. I just saw it. The Cleveland Browns are giving up 4 draft picks for Justin Tucker.
No, you did not just see that.
I did just see it. That was a great meme on a great comedy Facebook page.
Oh,
so
you had me going for a second. I'm like, because when you think of the Browns,
that would be something they would do.
Do stupid shit.
Stupid shit. That's something they would do. Oh man,
they're the only team that I would say does anything dumber than I'm all in.
We're gonna get to Jerry in a little bit, but let's switch gears. We haven't talked Major League Baseball in a very long time on the show.
Put me in, coach.
It is the off season that we talked last time. We talked about it. It was about the Juan Soto signing and kind of MLB free agency. And I know our sorry our Sorry in Advance Philly show that's a part of this network is the real baseball experts. But I would like to talk about the Hall of Fame and the three main Hall of Fame inductees that were elected. I'm gonna list them off, and then we can take them one at a time of your impressions of them and their careers. So the first one is Ichiro. Came over from Japan, had an incredible career. I believe he's the single
Named after a motorcycle.
Ichiro Suzuki, yeah. Or maybe the motorcycle was named after him. He's that great.
You
But
think
he
so?
held the single season hit record, I think, with like 255 or something. May even be more than that. But came over, had an amazing career. And if he would have got here a little younger, he might have overtaken Pete Rose's record. I'm going to be honest. But what did you see from Ichiro over the years playing in Seattle, and your impressions of his career and how his greatness?
Well, we always talk about consistency, right? And that's what he was. He was consistent. We could depend on him for hits. I don't think I'm just looking at his stats because I haven't kept up with Seattle, but I do know the consistency that he's had over the years is pretty darn impressive. You don't see, except for early on in his career, maybe in 2000. Well, I think 12 was the strike season, wasn't it?
I
So,
think
yeah. And so he didn't play anything less than 145 games. He didn't have long strings of injuries. Um, Tons of MVPs. So he just consistent.
how many MVPs?
When you think of, huh?
How many MVPs did he win?
He has.
I didn't
Let's
think he
see
won
here.
MVPs.
Hmm?
I didn't think he won any MVPs.
I think it's just that he was always in the top, very top for the voting. You're right.
I mean that's
So
understandable. I didn't, yeah, but I didn't
yeah,
think he ever won one.
yeah, and so I mean, tons of Golden Glove. Um, so I do think that it's just consistency. When you think of home run hitters, great baseball players, um, the guys who seem to be that shining star or whatever. He to me is kind of like one of my favorites from the past is Tony Gwynn. They just come out and they play the game, they get it done. There's not a whole lot of flash. There's not a whole lot of home runs, but it's consistency, and that's what you need in baseball. That's my thoughts on Mr. Ichiro.
What? What'd you just say?
I said, that's my thoughts on Mr. Ichiro.
Here we go, mispronouncing names again. It's Ichiro, but guys.
You know what? I was thinking of Ichiro. I'd really like Ichiro, right? So,
Did you just compare Ichiro's name to a Churro burrito?
yes,
Wow.
I did.
Wow. Folks, this is the type of expert entertainment you can expect on Time Sports Talk. Comparing Ichiro's name to a Churro burrito. Holy crap. Ichiro, hands down Hall of Famer, one of the best hitters ever in Major League Baseball history. Wasn't a power hitter, and I don't think we'll ever see anything like him anytime soon. Honestly, with how players try to hit the ball today with launch angles and exit velocity, Ichiro would just put it exactly where you would need to put it. To get a double, a triple, a single, he'd just kill you by, 1,000 paper cuts essentially. I mean, is what he would do. And and he could get it out of the park every once in a while, and absolutely, hands down. How about the Cleveland Indian and Yankee great pitcher CC Sabathia? Had a long career, successful career, won my 1 or 2 World Series with the Yankees, I do believe. Um, do you think he deserved to get in based on stats and what he did in his career, or do you think that was questionable?
No, I think he deserves to get it. I mean, but once again, it goes to not a lot of flash, but consistency. He had multiple seasons when he was over 700 in his win loss record. Um, Going back to 2008, he was almost 800. Of course, he didn't pitch as much that year, but just consistency once again. He's a guy who's going to give you, um, if you look at his career, um, in the beginning of his career, he averaged really close to 200 innings pitched every single year. Wasn't a guy who was injury prone. I think in 2014, he missed some games, only pitched 46 innings that year. But even all the way till he was done in 2019, over 107 innings pitched. He was that guy that's going to give you consistency. He didn't give up a whole lot of home runs most of the time. So he's just once again, not a lot of flash, but very consistent. Yes, they are sweet goodness sticks. I like that.
Oh yeah, because I said burrito, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Anyways, good point. Um, uh, yeah, CC was at what I mean. He was a workhorse, right? He was a guy who was going to threaten 20 games, winning every year. Um, had over 3,000 strikeouts in his career, almost 3,100. Came about 7 short of that. Was one of the last pitchers that really had a chance at 300 wins. I mean, he was pretty far off of that number, but he had the opportunity if he would have won more games per year. He won 251 in his career. That number is astronomical for pitchers in today's league to get to, just based off of how it is and how they base it all on stats and numerical statistics and BS like that on all your strategy. But CC was a great, absolutely one of the last workhorses we saw in the Major League Baseball. And then you got Billy Wagner, the closer Billy Wagner. Closers are kind of an interesting subject for me because you're a specialist, right? And man, it's hard to compare someone who pitches thousands of innings to someone who pitches, Billy Wagner pitched 900, and had 1,100 or 1,200 strikeouts compared to, let's compare him to CC Sabathia. So, it's pretty, I believe Mariano Rivera should be in the Hall of Fame. Trevor Hoffman, Billy Wagner saved 422 games and, had an ERA of 2.31, a whip under 1. Closers are hard for me in the Hall of Fame, but when it comes to closers, he was one of the best. I'll give him credit.
I think a lot of this has to do with I think it was his last year of eligibility.
I think it
And
was.
so what's that?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So it once again, it's the nature of the game. Closers they're a vital part of the baseball team. So yeah, he didn't pitch as many innings as someone like Sabathia. but he was in a lot of critical games, a lot of critical situations. So I do think it you know, for me, I'm kind of with you on that. It's hard on closers to figure it out, to say who deserves what they deserve, just because they are a specialist. It's so, but yeah, I think I don't have a problem with any of them going in there. Um, from my perspective, um, although I would put Carlos Beltran, who fell short by very few votes, I would put him over Billy Wagner. But once again, Billy Wagner going into the not being eligible here soon. So I get it. But I would have had I was surprised that Beltran did not get enough votes, quite frankly.
Um, Beltran, I can take it or leave it. He's a really good player. I don't know if he's a Hall of Fame player for me. But you know who I do think is a Hall of Fame player that's not in the Hall of Fame is Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and
Yeah,
Pete
we
Rose
can go back. You liked Larry Bonds when you were a kid.
and A Rod. All these guys are not in there because of potential steroids, and obviously Pete Rose was betting on baseball, and obviously Pete Rose will never see himself get in if he does get in because he passed away. Um, you know, but Barry Bonds, man, he was a Hall of Famer before the accusations, but we know it was broadly used as steroids in this era of baseball. And Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and Barry Bonds, after McGwire and Sosa's run, Bonds kind of took over. It saved baseball. After the strike, it in the '90s, it brought baseball back. It brought excitement back, and and if it wasn't illegal at the time, then so be it. But obviously, there's a lot of controversy surrounding Barry Bonds with when he was using, how he was using with I think it was the Balco Labs and those issues. That's a big deal. But I think he was a Hall of Famer before he got kind of bulked up and all that stuff. So I think Barry Bonds should be in. Clemens as well, one of the best pitchers in the history of baseball. Like, can you write? And here's the funny thing: is you can't write the history of Major League Baseball without these guys. Like, that's their impact is that big. You have the all-time hits leader. You have probably the most talented player ever in A-Rod. You have Barry Bonds, the home run king. Roger Clemens, and his stats are astronomical. And what he did with the Yankees and Red Sox in his career. You can't write, and they're in the Hall of Fame. If you go to the Hall of Fame, they just don't have a bust. Barry Bonds' stuff is in the Hall of Fame. It's there in the museum. He's just not a member of the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's just that stupid. Like, you want to put an asterisk or put a plaque or a little thing next to the name saying, played during this era under suspicious stuff, so be it. I don't care. But put these dudes in the Hall of Fame, man. Put them in the Hall of Fame.
I hear what you're saying, and I don't necessarily totally disagree with you. But the argument is that the guys that made it there before them, and quite frankly, the guys that are making it there after them,
maybe
didn't use any of that stuff.
Maybe they
did it the old-fashioned way. Now you say, well, okay, well, let's put an asterisk in front of their name. Well, are there some others you could put an asterisk in front of their name?
100%.
For certain things they did. So I get both sides of it, and it's a difficult question to answer because Sosa, Clemens, Bonds, McGwire, all of them should be in, but it should be. I don't know what you do to make it right, because you got to put this on baseball too. Because I can go back, it's just like you said, they brought people to the game. They were doing commercials. McGuire's doing commercials back then of thank you for watching and all this stuff and it brought excitement to the game. So I think some of that onus goes on baseball, Major League Baseball itself. Because everybody knew it was going on. They let it go on because it was bringing fans to the game. And quite frankly, now that they don't have that, and you really only have a few guys who are like your Aaron Judges and guys like that that are contenders for doing great things in the home run race. But back then, you had numerous guys that were hitting well over 30, 40 home runs a year because of it. And it was leading certain teams to get in the playoffs, to play in October.
Yeah,
So I think they should be in, but I think it also needs to be acknowledged that it wasn't just them; it was also Major League Baseball. When the Rose discussion to me is a totally different thing. I think the man was punished enough, punished all the way to his grave, and the hypocrisy now to me is that it's all about sports betting. And I know we got another story in the NBA we're going to talk about.
Yep.
But which I knew was coming. Most people knew was coming because everything now, this is the hypocrisy of it. Don't tell me that people shouldn't be able to bet on shit in sports and players shouldn't be able to bet when it's everything you do. It is everything that the NFL does. You got Kevin Hart, LeBron, all of them talking about people betting and losing their money.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. You know, the sports leagues have embraced it, and I think times change, and I don't think it's necessarily in principle a negative that the because if you're not evolving in, and you would know this a little more than me, would you have your NBA, but if you're not evolving and continually looking for the next thing as a business or as a sports league, you're normally dying. So, the sports betting realm, when it started becoming, all right, we're going to get kind of dip our toes in this, and then it exploded. It's an interesting thing in the fact of, the Pete Rose case. Yeah, you shouldn't be betting on your games. He said he only bet on his teams to win, which, I don't know if that affects your decision-making process in a positive or negative way. Maybe you're desperate to win, so you do something you normally didn't do. But you're right. Pete Rose was heavily, kept out, punished, and all the way, obviously, to his grave, like you said. And I think you should go and lift that, since societal standards have changed when it comes to gambling. And so you make a great point on there. And I think that's a great spot to take a break and hear from our sponsor, Easy Leadership. So enjoy.
Ever wonder what truly drives you or your team to greatness? Unlock the keys to better communication and higher productivity with the Berkman Personality Assessment. Discover your interest, needs, and stress behaviors. Powered by science, tailored by Easy Leadership. Our experts transform complex insights into simple, actionable strategies for your personal and professional growth. Empower your team, elevate your leadership, and deepen your understanding with Easy Leadership by your side. Ready to thrive? Why not use real data when it comes to making your business strategy work? People data is just as important to strategy as financial data. To make any objective attainable, it requires people for the execution. Start your journey to self-awareness and transformation today with Easy Leadership. Check out our website at easeleadership.com.
I like the way she talks.
I bet you do.
Ease Leadership. You know, well, we're talking about baseball. So,
oh, well, I was going to use the commercial transition, but I'm sorry. I was eating some delicious roasted almonds, and they're driving me nuts. So, see what I did there?
You want to hear the best line I heard all week?
Well, what was that?
So, I think it was my daughter's friend's car. Someone got mad at where she parked or whatever and left a note on her car. And it said, "Your parking sucks. You eat bananas for the shape, not the taste." That's the best line I've heard all week.
Wow.
But
all right, NBA, you teased it a little bit there with betting and sports, and we got to talk about the Terry Rozier situation going on in the NBA right now. It's been investigated in a federal sports betting probe to where there's some suspicious wagers placed on Rozier in 2023 in a specific game between the Charlotte Hornets and the New Orleans Pelicans, where he may or may not have been point shaving type stuff. This is where the gambling and sports and getting in bed with this stuff, man, this is where it gets dangerous. And NBA already has an image issue where their product sucks right now. We'll get into the NBA All-Star game here shortly, but after the Terry Donahue thing, I don't know if you ever watched that documentary on the referee that was refereeing under the guise of potential outcomes changing. This doesn't help it. Like it just gives more to the conspiracy theory that the NBA is rigged, or they're not really doing, it's not honest fully. And that's a dangerous place to be if you're a league. I'm going to be honest.
Well, and to me, it goes back to this whole betting thing. First off, you're integrating. It's just like when we talk about the college portal. It's out of control. To me, the betting in sports is out of control because they're putting it into everything. Yet you don't have a barrier or a guardrail against your players in it. And these are young kids, impressionable kids who got a lot of money. And, wow, I got an extra $1 million. What if I just put that on this team? It's really easy because now it's an app on your phone. It's whatever. It's in your face everywhere. And you can't even watch an NFL game without, there's whole shows dedicated to what the betting lines are. Now, that's what the whole sports show, they've got that on ESPN. The whole sports show is around the betting lines so people can bet. And so I think it's another thing that it has gotten out of control. And like I said, I don't like Roger Goodell. I think he's got in bed with some of these different things and not putting guardrails up, and they're extremely hypocritical about it. Saying, "Oh, you can't bet on this, you can't bet on that. Oh, by the way, here's our betting service that's easy for you to do. But remember, don't bet what you don't have." Oh, well, thank you for telling me that. That's some really good advice there. I think I'll take it. No, people are losing their butts to these things. And they just make it like you're buying a bag of Doritos, So I just think it's out of control. I think there's no guardrails, and I think they're extremely hypocritical when they go after these guys who bet. Now, obviously, betting on a game that you're playing in and you're doing things to help you win the bet by betting against your team and stuff like that. That is obviously bad, 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 and it goes the law. But I think this is what you get. This is what you get in professional sports when you get in bed with this stuff.
Yeah, I think ultimately, you, you, blah 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 blah. If I could talk, is as a league and as a player in the league, you might be able to have access to information that would make you bet other way. You can text another player on another team. You know, they're all friends now. They all sing kumbaya and all that BS. You know, no one's really an enemy anymore. You know, like back in the day, there's not a lot of real rivalries. So they could get some insider information if they wanted, like, hey, you know, how bad really is that ankle injury from so and so? You know, are they going to play tonight? Are they going to play a lot? What do you think? You know, and I'm sure LeBron James would be more than happy to divulge that information because he's a douche. But you know, so, but it is an interesting take, and it'll be interesting how big this show blows up, and it'll that part of it will be very, very interesting on this story, on where it goes, and if it's any deeper than Terry Rozier, honestly. But the other, you know, crazy thing going on in the league right now, we've talked about it a few times, is the Jimmy Butler situation. It's only gotten worse. He is suspended indefinitely. That was your cue. Say something.
Well, I mean, it's Butler. What, you know, you have a butler who brings you a sandwich and a drink, and you have a butler who can't even make a damn plane that's a private freaking jet or walks out. He just pandering to this bullshit that the guy is still on a team or someone will sign people like this is just ridiculous to me. And the fact that people will pay their hard-earned money to go see it or bet their hard-earned money. I was just looking up an interesting stat. I was wondering how much was bet last year in 2023, over $119 billion on sports betting. And in 2024, that went up to $35 billion.
Okay.
It's out of control.
I'm going to say I was part of the 2024 amount at the MGM Grand. I bet on UConn, and UConn let me down, by the way. So that sucked. But yeah,
bet what you don't have.
Oh, I had it.
You a good pizza.
Jerk. I didn't say I bet a lot. I'm a teacher. I ain't got a lot, and we ain't making money off this podcast yet. So if you have a company out there on TikTok or YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, and you want to be a sponsor, we can work something out. So just DM me. We'll do that. Shameless plug there. But or if you need shirts made, Lulu's Creation, DM me. All right. Anyways, you know, the Jimmy Butler thing, man. For those, the reason he got suspended indefinitely, obviously he's been having issues with the team. He missed the team play. And then he texted the team like, "I'll just meet y'all there." And they were like, "Nah, keep your ass at home." And then he gets back with the team, and he has the audacity to tweet out the Michael Jordan line, "I'm back." Like, dude, you're not on that level, homie. Like, don't even do that. Like, you're a professional. You've been a great player in the league for a long time. You're not on that level. You're not that man. Stop it. But he's at shoot around, and the coaches tell him, "Hey, you were suspended for 2 games. You're coming back. Ultimately, you're not going to start tonight. Like, you're going to play, but you're not going to start." To me, as a coach, that's a fair compromise. You missed the last 2 games. You haven't been at anything we're doing. You're
not for a prima donna.
But he just walks out of the shoot around. Just walks out of the building. And I give him credit. Suspend his ass and start trying to trade him. And you're probably not going to get much for him at this point. We kind of went over his stats and kind of type of player he was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. 35, 36 years old, can get you between 15 and 21 a night. Is a good defender, not a great defender anymore. I think he would fit in Los Angeles in a Laker uniform. But because LeBron's crying, he doesn't have enough help again. That's what he does. And so I saw an interesting point that he would fit in what am I thinking of Golden State, that he'd be a fit there. But Miami part ways, and thank him for his few years he was with you, and move on from him because he's nothing but a cancer on your team. Dallas, do not even pick up that effing phone for that trade call, because I will. You think you've been frustrated with the Cowboys? If the Mavericks make that trade, this banner will not be hanging here anymore. I'm just saying it. If they make that trade, hot take. So want to stay in the NBA. All-Star games were announced, or All-Star game is always announced, but the All-Star teams were announced. Any interesting snubs? Teams that seems like they went back to the East-West version of it instead of like Team LeBron and Team Giannis, them drafting players. Any particular ones you notice that you're like, who's that guy, or who didn't make the team, or do you think they were pretty spot on this year?
I don't, and I might not be the greatest authority on this, but has Harden had a really good year this year?
Harden has James Harden is 21 points a game, 8 assists, almost 6 rebounds. So a solid year. I think Kyrie Irving would have been better than James Harden on the team. Kyrie's trying to keep the Mavericks afloat while Luka's been out. But these other guys, I think, are. I don't know about Jalen Williams from OKC. I think he has the benefactor of being on the best team in the league with SGA. But most of the rest of them, are your standard guys. I think, you got some interesting ones that I'm not too familiar with in Cleveland with Evan Mobley. I do know Darius Garland. He's a really good player. So it's an interesting group. I think it's generally your normal suspects, other than Luka not being there because he's been hurt, Kyrie not being there. But I think generally it's pretty well done. Cade Cunningham from Detroit, I'm happy to see him get some shine because Detroit is one of the surprises of this season that we'll get into here in a minute. And same thing with Alper Seguin or Segun from the Rockets. Whoever
is it, Seguin or Segun?
I think it's Segun or Senegun, or he's European, I'm pretty sure. So,
and he made fun of me while.
Hey, you talked about Ichiro and Churros, okay? So.
And Shaquan Barkley.
Yeah, it's Saquon. Yeah, everyone knows how to pronounce Saquon except you. And when we first started doing this, you were saying Micah instead of Micah. All right, that's stupid crap.
Hey, no, it's not. I just we're close like that.
You're really not. You don't have his number. He won't answer your DMs.
You don't know.
I do know.
You don't know.
You would have told me. Like, don't sit here and try to play these games. All right.
You know what? I must show you something. You keep going. I got to show you something, man.
All right. I don't really have much to say on that. But I do think. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about this. There's a dude on Twitter, and I should have known better to engage in someone who like bases their Twitter off of Kenneth Fareed, the Manimal, and
Are you fixing to get on another hater?
oh yes, I am, because it relates to Bronny James. Bronny James was called back up to the Lakers, played against the 76ers, and that child got torched. Yes, I said child.
Little Bronny?
Lil Bronny got his ass handed to him by Tyrese Maxey. But this dude on Twitter sat here and tried to tell me he was going to be a projected first round pick before the heart condition came up, and that the talent's there. He's a great playmaker, shot maker. I'm like, dude, get off the James family's hoo-ha, okay? Like, get off their wee-wee and stop. Like, dude, have an educated opinion on basketball. Like,
just made a wee wee reference. You just made a wee wee reference.
I did. You know, hit him in the ding ding. But like,
and ding ding. You see this? Dude, you see what I have right there? You know what that is?
That's a Micah Parsons card.
It's a Micah Parsons rookie card, and he gave that to me.
What? Who gave that to you?
No, I'm just kidding. He didn't give it to me, but I forgot I got that. I actually got that for you, and I haven't given it to you.
Oh, well, thanks. You're going to save that for it to be my birthday present, so you don't have to buy anything anymore. But, no, just donate money to.
I'm discombobulated from the wee wee reference, I guess.
Yeah. Just donate money to our wedding fund. That's all. Don't buy me anything for my birthday. Bronny James, man, he averaged 14.8 points in high school. He was the biggest All-American fraud, McDonald's All-American fraud in history. He averaged 3.8 points per game in college. He wasn't that good. He needed more time in college. I think he had the potential to be a rotational NBA player if he would have stayed in college and developed there. But, like, I'm sorry, man. It is nepotism. He wouldn't be in the league right now if his dad's name wasn't LeBron James. And this is the only sport that you see this garbage in, that I've ever seen it like this. Now, I know, but, like, you had it with Griffey and Griffey Jr. Griffey Jr. undoubtedly had the talent. And obviously, you know, he had one of the greatest careers of all time.
Point of contention.
Go ahead. Try your BS argument here.
It's not basketball, but do you think Manning, who plays for the Longhorns, would get as much notoriety if he didn't have that name? Because you said it occurs in basketball. I think it occurs in all sports.
I'll say this. One, to answer your question, no. Arch Manning wouldn't have the hype he had if his last name wasn't Manning. So I don't disagree with that. But you've never seen a franchise be manipulated in a way of taking one of their players' kids who's taking opportunity away from someone else. Like, that's what happened there. And Bronny James was not deserving of that. Like, I'm sorry. He wasn't good enough. He could have been if you would have gave him a couple years at USC. But they orchestrated the father, son playing together. Man, you saw it last night. He ain't ready, and he's probably not. And I don't like quoting this dude. I'm not a huge fan anymore of this guy. But even Stephen A. Smith was like, homie, he's not an NBA player. And Stephen A., he's covered basketball longer than I've been an adult. Okay? And that's a long time. So it's been, I'm 38. Okay? He's been doing it a lot longer than 20 years. The man, if he has that opinion, I got to respect that opinion, because he generally, on the LeBron subject, he normally plays it pretty even. He doesn't on a lot of other subjects, but on the LeBron one, he does. I'll give him credit where credit's due. But Bronny James and it's sad that that's like the biggest story of the season, and that tells you how crappy the NBA product is right now. It really is. But thank you, Tyrese Maxey, for exposing Bronny James. And hey, Fareed Maniac or whatever the hell your Twitter handle was, I hope you see this and you realize you're an idiot. And I hope you enjoy not getting any more followers because of your stupid basketball takes. All right. You had 47 of them at the time, 47 followers. And I should have known. Anyways.
I don't need more haters because you're hilarious because you get so pissed off at these guys.
I told you we love the haters. We got to have fun with the haters. All right. It's part of the bit. God, exposing the business right now. All right.
Speaking of haters,
let's hear you hate on the Cowboys' decision to hire Brian Schottenheimer. Shoot Shotty.
Well, you know what I say. It's the only way we can win. It's the only way we can stay consistent. That is the stupidest damn shit I heard the whole week. Was that we want to stay consistent. We don't want a lot of change when it comes to the coaching. Well, why the F did you let McCarthy go? That would have stayed pretty damn consistent. So, and quite frankly, I feel for Mr. Schottenheimer. He does come from a very influential coaching family. And listening to him, he's sincere. He wants to do stuff, but you can tell it just this just ain't. Nobody is on board with this as far as the fans go. Now, but the whole bullshit line about we want to maintain some consistency. Get the hell out of here, man. And I love the fact that no one clapped when they said, and Stephen Jones is here. And all you heard was freaking crickets. And nobody clapped because everybody's like, you're in the other line. Jerry's like, well, we need to analyze where we're not doing so, because someone asked about the Eagles and the commies. To Washington commies.
He said he needs to analyze where we need to get better.
Yeah. Well, where he's saying, well, we need to try some different things and get better. How about you just go to bed, take a nap, and let Will McClain, who Will McClain is actually not a bad guy. He knows personnel. But make him the damn GM. Jerry, go eat some freaking popcorn and some prune juice and chill. See, I threw in the prune juice again.
Listen, folks, if you don't get that inside joke right there, if you didn't listen from the first minute of the show. So that's why you got to be here at the beginning. All right. The prune juice, great play there. I don't disagree with your assessment on Will McClain or Will McClay. Sorry. I think he is a good assessor of talent. He's been a positive influence in that draft room. And I think he's a huge reason that they've hit on the draft picks that they've hit on. I do think, I told you, Jerry's not going to give it up till he's dead. And he might not even give it up when he's dead. He's going to have like some Cybertronic version with his AI like personality put into it. And he's going to put in his will that this robot's in charge of the Cowboys or some bull crap like that. I swear he's concocting that thing. Like he's going to take his brain, he's going to put it in this robot, and he's going to be running the Cowboys forever, which means we will be forever in football purgatory. The Schottenheimer hire, I didn't like it on Sunday. You know, we've had a few days to think about it, but it's just like I think I said this on Sunday. It's just like when you vote for whatever political candidate you vote for president, you want the president to do well because that means the country's doing well, right? Well, in this particular situation, as Cowboy fans or Cowboy haters, Cowboy fans, if the coach does well, that means we doing well. That means we're eating. That means we're happy. But that means the haters are hating even louder. All right. And then we can address them on the show one by one if we need to. But it's one of those things that it just didn't make sense. You didn't even call Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn, who Aaron Glenn was a Cowboy. Like, you know, you didn't even have a serious interview with Deion Sanders, which I know he knows Deion, but football coach Deion, he doesn't know. And Deion hasn't been in that building for 30 years.
Because we wanted consistency. We wanted consistency.
I mean,
you know, and I do think, you know, I've heard a lot of people say this, is that I think they thought McCarthy was going to stay.
yeah, you heard me say that.
Yeah, I think that's where they were at. Now, but I want to address something else, though. That they're basically hiring the coaches with the craziest last names. The shit that's when you talk about Eberflus,
It's Eberflus.
Schottenheimer,
It's Schottenheimer.
Borgonzi,
I didn't even know that guy existed until you just said
White Cotton.
it.
What is he, Indian?
No,
He Aaron White Cotton.
you're going to get us canceled, dude. Don't ever do that again.
It's Aaron White Cotton.
No, don't do it.
The only guy you understand his last name is Mr. Curtis, Andrew Curtis, the defensive pass coordinator from Chicago. I guess he's coming over with Eberflus.
All right, Eberflus. But yeah, so I will say I think the Eberflus hire is a solid hire. Not because of his track record as a head coach.
I'm writing that shit down. I'm writing that shit down right now so we don't forget this. When that defense gets run over.
Would you listen to me for a second? Okay.
You're hard to listen to.
Shut your bald face up for a second. Holy crap. Listen to what I'm saying.
Face. My face is not bald. There's hair there. Get it right. This is bald. This has hair.
Just shut up already. I say it with love, y'all. I say it with love. Listen, I think it's a good hire because if you look at his track record as a defensive coordinator, very similar to Robert Saleh, who I was a fan of them hiring. His defenses have always been really, really good. Like top 5, top 10 defenses in the league. So that part of it is a positive. I'll be honest. Before I didn't know a lot about the guy. So when I looked into it, you know, he had players that were all pro players, and then after he left, they weren't all pro players anymore. The linebacker.
So you're going to say he coached a point of contention. He coached the Indianapolis Colts defense from 2018 to 2021. Were they in the top 5?
You got to look it up. I don't remember the years, but what's the linebacker?
I'm going to say no. I haven't looked it up, but I'm going to say no because
I'm going to say yes because you ain't looked it up. So, yes, I am. I can't remember the linebacker's name from the Indianapolis Colts. He was an All-Pro for the 4 years. He was his coordinator, and then when Eberflus left, he fell off the map. Like he couldn't even get picked up by another team. I'm telling you, I saw the story on Twitter. Or on X, whatever you want to say, okay? But I'm telling you, Eberflus can coach defense. That's the point I'm trying to make. The other guys they've hired, I've never heard of them. By the way, I
never heard of Zimmer.
Zimmer's gone. He's not on the staff.
I understand that, but you said you've never heard of the guys they hired.
I'm talking about since on Schottenheimer's staff.
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying now.
Old man over there. Yeah, ultimately, it'll be an interesting staff he puts together. But, you know, I was still a fan of putting Al Harris as the defensive coordinator. He obviously left to be the passing game coordinator of, I think, Detroit or something like that, or somewhere up in the NFC North. But, yeah, it's to be determined like anything, but Schottenheimer, Eberflus, and anyone else they hire, it's determined on the offseason for the Cowboys. It really is. And if they don't create cap room and they don't sign one or two free agents at the beginning of free agency, not at the end where you're bargain hunting, and have a good draft like a Walker, the linebacker from Georgia in the second round, maybe, and Genty in the first round at running back, and or maybe I really do like Martinez out of Miami, and the kid the running back for Ohio State that's coming out. I think it's Deveray Henderson or not Deveray Henderson. He was a wide receiver. They're starting running back. I'm struggling tonight, guys. I'll be honest, but his success is going to be determined in year one off of this offseason. And then they got to find a wide receiver somewhere. So, and maybe an offensive lineman because Zach Martin ain't coming back. So, yeah, there's a lot to be determined. And, like I said, I hope he does great because that means we eat. But we'll see. These next 6-7 months are going to be interesting with the Cowboys. Give us a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's sad to me because unless the Cowboys just totally change, but we hear it every year. And to the guy you were talking about, Stephen A. Smith, he says, and I agree with him, Jerry's taking all the fun out of Stephen A. Smith razzing us Cowboy fans because this year we're just like, we're going to suck. There's nobody saying this is our year. I mean, give me one person besides the three that were sitting at that table, Jerry and Steven, who think they're going to be worth a damn next year. There's nobody. There's nobody thinking that. And especially, we've tried every year. Oh, we got something. We got something going. We're going to get something going. But unless they just completely change their philosophy, but all of us know that's not going to happen. There's going to be some high-level free agents. There'll be 4 or 5 of them out there. And the Cowboys, there'll be talk about, the Cowboys could get Tyreek Hill. The Cowboys could get somebody else. They could draft the best running back. And then they're going to jack it all up by not doing what they should do. All because Jerry doesn't realize he needs to let it go.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it, man. You're that damn old, and I understand wanting to hang on, but you still are the owner of the team. You still can be the talk of the team, but let somebody else run the damn show.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And, I think it's something you and I struggle, and I think most common people struggle. I say common people on the fact of Jerry Jones and the life he's lived. Like, that's a life we can't relate to. Billionaire lifestyle. And unless, everyone on, TikTok over here supporting me and everyone watching here, unless we start getting billions of views on this or millions of views on this, we're not going to be able to relate that to that lifestyle. And when you've had control your entire life at such a young age and you become a billionaire, you buy the Cowboys, and then you've been in control since 89 or 88, 89. Giving that up is hard. And when you have the absolute power, he probably would have a simpler life, but he wouldn't know what to do with himself. You made the point on Sunday. It's Al Davis 2.0. It's
on steroids.
And so it's almost sad to see, and like I said, I hope Shotty and the staff is successful. I hope the team is successful because, and I don't say this as a Cowboys fan only, I say this as sports are better when the most popular teams are good, or at least in it, because it gives you talking points, it keeps fans interested. You know, when the Cowboys are good, it's great TV. You know, look, we were bad last year, and we had the highest rated game of the season on Thanksgiving, and we're a losing football team. I don't even think Dak was injured then, so Dak wasn't even playing then. So, you know, it's better when the Boston Celtics and Lakers are good. You know, it's better when, you know, the Yankees are good because everyone wants to hate them, and the Red Sox and the Dodgers, you know, and all these traditional powers. It's nice when they're good. You don't want to see them win all the time. You want to see the big bad Yankees get their ass kicked, or you want to see the Miami Heat LeBron super team get beat by, you know, this lowly Mavericks team who can't, you know, they can't guard JJ Barea. You know, it creates an amazing storyline, things like that. So, Cowboys being good makes the league better. Unfortunately,
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think that's an argument. And I think everybody thinks that, but I think the way it's going and the way it's continuing to go, and yeah, I hope Mr. Schottenheimer proves us all wrong. I really do. But the hypocrisy in the statements that JJ was making of, we want to stay consistent, but we're going to do things differently. Do you realize how dumb that statement is, Jerry, what you just said?
you know,
And then in the same breath, he goes, I'm taking a risk. Just like I took a risk with Jimmy Johnson, just like I took a risk with Barry Switzer, I'm taking a risk. No, you're not. Because in the same damn breath, you said we want to maintain consistency. That was, you know, everybody in the room listening to them, it goes back to that movie. Everything you just said made no sense. And in your constant rambling, had no relevance to what you were saying. And now everybody in the room is now dumber for having heard it.
It's from Billy Madison, and you completely misquoted it, but I'll let it slide.
Actually, it's not from Billy Madison. There's an earlier one. But yeah, they use the same thing.
It's Billy Madison. I've never heard that anywhere else. I award you no points.
He was on a game show because it's from a game show.
Listen,
I think Billy Madison stole it.
Anyway, folks, we know he's wrong. You know, the oxymoronic statement of we want to be consistent, but we want to do things differently that you're pointing out. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's oxymoronic, right? And so, you know, you can't do both. And you needed a change, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions too. And you didn't do the change. And so it is what it is. And so, yeah. So that's pretty much all I got on that subject. But
you can take out the ironic on moron and just make it moron, because that's what they are. They're being morons.
I don't like any of these. Can we do that?
Oh, pet peeves?
Yeah, I was going to talk about something real quick, and this kind of it's more of a message to young players, and I know I ain't got a lot of high school kids listening to this, but maybe some parents will see it's Billy Madison. But I want to say in the state of high school sports and college sports right now, if you're trying to get recruited and you're in high school, you need to understand how hard it is right now to be recruited because of the transfer portal and the transfer portal rules. Big time programs, if they are invested in you, you need to take that serious because now you can go to, they're going to want you to go to a JUCO or a smaller school, develop your game, and then they can just kind of pick you or sign you essentially as a free agent. As a high school player, it's harder than ever to get recruited, and I hope people realize that. So when you have an opportunity, whether no matter if it's NAIA, Division III, Division II, Division I, whatever it is, you got to do that special. And I say that, or you got to take, that's a special situation now, and you need to take advantage of it. And ultimately, a big thing with that is you got to take care of everything. And that is your academics, that is the work on whatever sport you're participating in. That is, I've had college coaches tell me they recruit families. And if your family, like if your parents are in the stands going crazy all the time, being a negative, that turns a lot of coaches and programs off from you. So it's not necessarily a sports pet peeve, but it's really a sports message here of saying, understand that, you got to have perspective, and AAU for basketball, I'm going to use basketball since I'm a basketball coach. AAU, a lot of coaches will sell you bill of goods like, hey, we're going to get you a scholarship. We're going to get you this and that. And, I had a kid a few years ago, all the talent in the world, very good player, not a great teammate. Grades weren't very good. Kid was lying on his Twitter bio, I'll tell you that, on his GPA. He was saying it was over a 3, and I'm like, dude, I've seen your grades. You're barely a 2.2. Like, stop lying to the world. And the kid didn't get any offers. Coming out of high school. He had to go a different route. He's doing successful now, which is awesome. But it's a hard thing to get to college athletics now in the state it is. And if you haven't adjusted on how you do things as a high school athlete, you got to kind of realize if that's your goal, you're going to really have to commit to your craft, and you're going to have to really try hard, because it's harder than ever to get a scholarship, because your Division I programs, they can just go pluck, who they want. There was over 5,000 football players in the portal this year, and 20 years ago, there was no portal, very little movement. And, you had a lot more opportunity out there for you to get to a university to play athletics. And so, if you got,
bring on my,
I was going to say, if you got a kid out there, a young kid that's working on the game, that's committed, understand that it's going to be difficult, and don't let that be your motivation for playing youth sports or club sports or high school sports. If you are good enough, you'll be found. With social media, you'll be found. Like the kids, I got invited to walk on at 2 colleges to play basketball coming out of my senior year, and I went to a 3A small school in South Texas. No one was recruiting me. I had to do my own recruiting. I called Coach Ball up at Central Christian College myself, and he was like, well, can you send me tape? And I was like, well, I have none. And he's like, well, we don't have the budget to go down there and see you. And I was like, well, shit. He's like, but if you want to come up here and roll in school and give it a shot, you're more than welcome. Some places like that. So it's harder than ever. So, but that's just kind of my coach message to the folks out there to, understand the gravity of what it is right now. Until they change the rules with the transfer portal, it's going to be harder and harder, because kids are going to go to these smaller programs, and especially since junior college doesn't count on your years of eligibility now, which we never talked about that. It seems insane to me. JUCO is going to start being loaded with young talent developing and that's basically going to be the minor leagues of the NFL's minor league, which is now college football. All right, I'll shut up now. And what pet peeve did you have, or whatever?
Well, my pet peeve has to do with if you do well in sports and you get interviewed, learn how to effing talk. Learn how to effing talk.
You know what I'm saying? Come
I
on,
even
man.
heard it this weekend.
You know what I'm saying?
With some of the football players. They're talking to a female reporter. They're like, man, I just run the ball, man. And that's what I wanted to do, man. And man, I get the ball, and I run with it, man. And that's all I want to do is run, man. That's it. Learn how to talk.
I'm gonna tell you that's a two-pronged thing right there. Is one, that's that can be cultural, but it's how you up in the house, right?
It's not just cultural.
Hold on. Let me finish. The other side of it is kids aren't really learning, and I hate to say this as an educator, it's not happening in school of teaching a lot of these skills. Like if a kid doesn't want to give a speech in class,
but I'm just not talking about kids. I'm talking about grown ass men in their freaking 29, 30 years old in the NFL.
The foundation of that come from. I'm talking about the foundation. Don't shake your head. I'm agreeing with you. Like I'm just saying, you said the issue. I'm telling you there's some root things there that people don't get taught really how to talk properly. And I've had this conversation with two coaches, as a matter of fact, yesterday. Okay. Is
Texas Red on the comments.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they do.
All right.
I get the ball and I run with it, cool.
So what I'm saying is, when I was talking to these other two coaches, the use of language in this younger generation, and it stems from the guys older than them and the women older than them, is atrocious. Like I'm talking how they talk to each other is so demeaning. How males and females interact. Like if I heard females talk like they talk now, I would not want to date any of them if I was a high school kid, because they talk like one of the guys. There's no class in it. Like they're trying to dab people up and be bros and be the dude instead of being a female and having some class about how they go about themselves. And it's just sad to see. I've seen the deterioration of it over the last 11 years being in public education, of how first it was guys talking to females all negatively and just disrespectful. And I'm like, dude, how are you going to do that? And now just the females talk disrespectful to each other and the guys. It's just all like, it's so sad to see. And it translates to when they're adults and how to articulate things and come up with well thought out articulation of the English language. I purposely use big words there, but
I'm flummoxed. I'm totally flummoxed.
People got me dumbfounded. I'll just say that.
All right. Well, there you go. Learn how to talk, people, because your interviews give me a migraine sometimes.
I agree, Linda.
Yep.
I agree. By the way, who's that cute guy in your picture right there? So, anyways.
Oh, God.
For the folks who don't know, Linda is my most beautiful, amazing wife who is actually about to have dinner ready. So,
I feel so sorry for her.
You should be proud of the man you raised. That is rude and unprofessional. And that poor lady has to put up with your
Look at me.
I love me some me. Okay, I love me some me. Actually, I'm actually a pretty humble dude, but and I'm don't even try it.
Point of contention.
Don't.
Look at that cute dude in her picture. I'm so humble.
Yeah, it was a joke. If there's
Oh,
anywhere that I learned about boasting about myself, it's the guy across from me or next to me on here. Okay, don't even try that. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
what the hell you're
Mr.
talking about?
Mr. Irrational Confidence for no reason. All right. So, but well,
All right.
folks, we appreciate everyone tuning in. I don't know what the numbers were, but if you were there, we appreciate it. All right. I will say there's almost like 1,000 likes on the TikTok live feed over here, and they can't even see you. So they just love me. So,
Oh, God. Did we just talk about humbleness?
oh, man.
Oh,
That was pretty good.
Exhibit A, I rest my case.
You just set it up for me and made it too perfect. So, but no, you know, we appreciate all the support, and like I said, I've said it every week. We're trying to grow this so we can make a much larger impact in our veteran community. If you don't know who we are, we both of us are Navy vets. It's kind of a family business. My little brother was in the Navy. My grandfather on my mom's side was in the Navy during World War II. And tomorrow we're going to, hopefully welcome home your grandson, my nephew. He's coming back from the Coast Guard, so like the poor man's Navy, I guess. And,
There's one difference between the Navy and the Coast Guard. And my uncle asked me that one time. Deep water, shallow water. There you go.
Yeah, if you get stuck in the toilet, you call the Coast Guard. So
easy. Hey,
it's too easy. It is too easy. Oh man, but no, our goal is to make a impact in the veteran community. So if you work with a veteran service, last week I talked to Combined Arms. We're trying to have them on the show in the next month or two once we can coordinate a time. Let us know. We would love to, if you're with a nonprofit or whatever, we'd love to team up. Or if you're a company that supports vets heavily, we're looking for sponsors, advertisers. We'd love to put your product out there, and that way it ultimately gets back to the vets who need it. That's why our colors are teal, to spread PTSD awareness. And that's the big reason for our show. And I ultimately started this podcast with my dad to get experience and try to get ready for the radio, sports radio, but trying to we've always been about serving others, all of us. So that's kind of been a family business too. And that's what we want to do is serve our veteran community at a much higher level than we do now. So if you're out there, we love y'all. We love the support. We thank you. And until next week, 7 p.m. Oh my God, I'm so close to 1,000 likes on TikTok. Can y'all start liking this? Come on, help me get 1,000 first time ever. That'd be awesome. Start liking TikTok.
all right. Yeah, help his humble ass get there. So, all right. Thank you.
Hold on.
And good night.
Oh, we reached 1,000. We reached 1,000. I'm just saying. Take that, Colton, you loser who criticized us only having one review.
You need to let go of the cult. Let it go.
Colton's not.
Let it go.
Come back, Colton.
Let it go.
Right,
let it go.
Peace. We love y'all. We appreciate the support. We're out. Or are we? No, I'm just kidding.